Hello and welcome to our morning yoga to energize and lengthen. Meet me in Shavasana. Let your feet roll outwards. Feel your shoulders down your back. Let your body weight be heavy. Close your eyes and tap into your breath. Our quote from today is by an unknown author, and it reads, "Every morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters most." Go ahead and begin to wiggle your fingers and your toes and slowly walk your feet in to bring them up to your chest. Try not to move too fast. We're still waking up the body. With your knees hugging into your chest, do whatever feels good here, whether that's pointing and flexing the toes, rolling little circles on your back, rocking side to side, allowing your eyes to remain closed if it feels good to do so. Go ahead and drop your arms into a cactus shape with your palms facing up, and drop your knees over to your left, looking over to your right for your reclined twist. Try to keep your upper body on the ground and your knees anchoring down to your left side. If this is a little too intense for you, you can always put a block or a pillow under your knee. Continue to tap into that deep breath. Using your core, bring your knees back to center and allow them now to drop to the right side, looking over your left shoulder. Again, if you need a little bit less of a twist at this time, feel free to put a pillow or a block under your knee. Trying to keep your upper body anchored towards the floor and allowing your breath to be deep and steady. Using your core, bring those knees back up to center. And slowly drop them down so that your knees are facing up and your feet are on the floor. Lengthening your right leg You can either keep your bottom leg bent or extend it out. Trying not to stretch too deep yet. We're just waking up and lengthening the legs, feeling the length in those hamstrings. If grabbing the leg is too much for you, feel free to wrap a strap around your foot. Just make sure there's some engagement in those toes. So your foot that's in the air, if you flex your foot, there's a little bit greater of a stretch. If you point it, it'll be a little bit less deep. Your bottom leg can have a pointed or flexed foot. Again, not stretching too deep, just lengthening, imagining our breath traveling to that hamstring to open up the back of that leg. Now we're going to bring that leg to the side. So if you had a strap, keep using the strap. If it's a little uncomfortable there, put a block under your foot like I'm doing here, or you can make a stack of pillows or blankets to rest your leg on. If holding your foot is fine, you're going to bring it to the side. What we all want to focus on is anchoring our left hip down. So our left hip shouldn't come up with that right leg being to the side. It should be anchored towards the floor. Try to find length behind your knees, really opening up that groin area. Allow that leg to fall back down to meet the other, so you're lying flat. Bring the knees back in, and we're going to take the same thing on the other side. Option to leave your knee up or straighten that bottom leg down. Have some energy in the feet, whether that's pointing or flexing. And you can use a strap if you did on the other side or if you need it here. In this stretch, we want to imagine our knee coming towards our nose. So it's not opening up to the side, it's in parallel, which means our toes should be pointing towards the floor as well as our knee. Breathing into the back of that hamstring. Again, not pushing it too far, just enough that we feel a little bit of sensation. Bringing that leg to the side, again, option to use your strap, block, pillows to support that leg. Anchoring our opposite hip, so on this side, our right hip to the floor. Sometimes putting my hand on my hip helps remind me to keep my hip towards the floor. Go ahead and release that leg and let it do a full circle from your side all the way back down to meet your other leg. So you're lying flat. Bring those heels back in, and we're going to open up our knees to Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined bound angle pose. Placing your hands on your hips, feet together, allow your knees to fall open. Don't force them, just let gravity open up those hips. Tapping into your breath, feeling the body relax and let gravity do its work. Bring your hands under your knees and slowly draw your left knee into your right, so you're lying in fetal position on your right side, and push your way up to an easy sitting position. So crossing at your ankles, drop your head down to the right, not forcing anything, just letting gravity lengthen that neck, feeling your opposite shoulder, so your left shoulder pressing down to create length. And come back to center, and dropping the head down to the left, feeling your right shoulder press away, creating length in that right side of the neck, sitting up straight. And back to center. We're going to drop the head down in front, not forcing anything, just letting the weight of the head naturally create length in the back of the neck. And back to center. And we're going to take it back, not dropping into the neck too far, just enough to have a nice opening in the front. And coming back to center. Now we're going to take some side body stretches. Option to have your left arm on your hip or reaching up by your ear. You're going to inhale to lengthen. Exhale to do a lateral bend to your right. Your bottom arm can be on fingertips. You can drop all the way to your elbow, or you can put a block under your hand for some more support. The most important thing here is that we are completely to the side so that we're not contracting forward or arching back. It is a total left side body stretch. Having your focus down to avoid straining the neck. If your arm is reaching above your head, just make sure that your shoulder is pressing down and is firmly activated. Both sits bones should be anchored towards the floor. Coming back up. And we're going to go right to the other side. So taking the same variation you did on the other side, whether it was having your arm above your head or your hand on your hip, and coming all the way down to your hand, a block, or all the way down to your elbow. Feeling your right side body this time lengthen, and your right sits bone should be anchoring towards the ground. Breathing into that side body to increase the stretch in your intercostal muscles. So feeling your rib cage expand and contract will deepen your stretch. And inhale back to center. We're going to come through onto our tabletop position, walking back to our mat. And inhale, cow, arch the back. And exhale, cat, pushing into the hands, reversing that spinal arch. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. And exhale, cat. Returning back to neutral, we're going to tuck those toes under and send it up into our downward facing dog. Walking our dog, trying to get into those Achilles and wake up the backs of those calves. If a full downward dog is a little bit too much for you, you can start by bending your knees and going up onto the balls of your feet, slowly making your way to straightening the knees and sending those heels down. In our downward dog, we want to push into our shoulders, lengthen the back of our spine, feel our tailbone facing up to the sky, lengthening behind the backs of our knees, pushing into our feet and our hands evenly. We're going to look forward and slowly walk our feet up to our hands into a forward fold. If this is too much for you today, feel free to put blocks underneath your hands to make you go a little bit less deep in the back of those legs, feeling the length in your spine and your head hanging heavy. Having a slight bend in your knees is also a nice way to release your back a little more. Go ahead and bend those knees, and we're going to roll up to standing. Inhale, gather in the energy of the space, Tadasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, weight in our toes, feeling that flat spine. Exhale, forward fold. We're going to step our feet to our high plank, hands under shoulders. We're going to lower down, chaturanga, elbows hugging the sides. Untuck those toes and do a slight cobra. So not a big arch, just enough that we're activating the back of our spine. Release and slowly make your way back to your downward facing dog. Look forward, walk your feet to your hands. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, Tadasana, mountain pose. Exhale, hands to heart center. And again, inhale, Tadasana, gather the space. Exhale, forward fold, relax that head. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Step back to plank. Feel that long spine. Exhale, chaturanga, lower down. Inhale, either take upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, send it back to your downward facing dog. Take whatever pathway to that down dog feels good for you today. Send that right leg up into your one-legged dog, toes facing the ground, feet flexed, and send it through to your low lunge. We're going to bring our left knee down and untuck that toe and send it up into a nice hip flexor stretch. You can have your arms still down by your feet, opening your chest, or you can bring your hands to your knees. Wherever you are, you want to feel your core engaged, so you're not completely dumping down into your hip flexor. You're lengthening it and allowing your core to support you. Imagining your breath going straight to your hip flexor, giving it the energy it needs to lengthen. Send your hands down, and we're going to send our hips back into our half splits or our split prep, flexing that front leg, bending the knee a little if necessary, finding your flat back and then rounding over. You can be up on your hands, up on some blocks, or down on your elbows. Coming back forward into that low lunge, we're going to raise our hands up, gathering the energy. Bring your hands to heart center. Either stay here or go into a nice deep twist. So we will hook our left elbow on our right knee, lengthening our chest, not letting our shoulders come up, and trying to twist so that our hands end up right at our heart center. Allowing our gaze to go to the right if that's comfortable, and feeling it stretch our hip flexor a little bit further. Slowly unwind, place your hands down, tuck that back toe, back to your runner's lunge. Bring your back foot in a little, sending that back heel down. You can always narrow your stance a little more if that feels better for you, or you can go a little wider, coming up into intense side stretch pose. You want to feel your hips squaring off and feeling the length of your spine before you allow it to round over. Feel the length behind your knees without locking into your hyperextension, and allow this to further open up your hamstrings. Walking your hands to your left side and bringing your feet to a parallel position on the side of your mat. We're going to come to a wide-legged forward fold. You can either hold on to your big toe with your pointer finger and your middle finger. You can have your hands on the ground, or you could bring your hands to some blocks. Trying to find length behind the knees and relaxing the neck and the head. Bring your hands to your hips, and we're going to flat back all the way to standing, so finding the length in your spine to rise. Go ahead and step to the top of your mat. Inhale, Tadasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back, find that length. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, step back to your plank, squeezing your core. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, send it back to your downward facing dog. We're going to take all of that on the other side. Inhale, send your left leg up into three-legged dog, toes pointing down. And bring that knee to your chest and step it through to your low lunge, bringing that right knee to the ground and on-tucking your toe. Option to keep your hands on the floor or send your hand to your knee. You also can put blocks on either side of your front foot. Wherever you are, try to find opening in your chest. Breathing in to that right hip flexor, holding your core. Send your hands down and send your hips back into your half splits, squaring your hips off, flexing that front foot and lengthening that front knee. You can either lower down to your hands, elbows, or some blocks. If you feel any discomfort in your spine, find a flat back. You'll still get a nice stretch in your hamstring and your back will feel more supported. Send your hands forward and send your hips back forward. Coming up, lengthening your arms to the sky. And bring your hands to heart center. Option to stay here or go into your twist. For this twist, your right elbow will hook onto your left knee. Feel your shoulders pressing down and opening up your chest so that your hands will move towards your heart center. Looking over your left shoulder only if that is comfortable for you today. Slowly come on out, send your hands back down, tuck your toe and find your runner's lunge. And we're going to push off of that front foot to find our intense side stretch pose. You want your feet to be facing the top of your mat in parallel, hips should be parallel, and we should have length behind our knees, relaxing our upper body on top of that left leg. If this is a little too intense for you today, feel free to add blocks on either side or shorten your stance a little bit. Rotating to the right side of our mat, finding parallel, we're going to relax over in our wide-legged forward fold. Again, you can have your two fingers holding your big toe, or hands on the ground, or hands on some blocks. Wherever you are, try to find relaxation in the back of your neck. Bring your hands back to your hips, finding that flat back all the way to standing, and step to the front of your mat. For the last time, we inhale, Tadasana, gather your energy. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Step back to the last plank of the day. Exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. We're going to lower down onto our knees, send our legs around in whatever way feels comfortable, and lower all the way down to the back. Your knees facing the sky and feet planted on the floor. Cross your right foot on top of your left knee, flexing that foot to protect your right knee. We're going to go into our figure 4 or our reclined pigeon. So feeding your hands through to that left leg, either grabbing the back of that left hamstring or grabbing the top of the left shin. If grabbing the leg is a little bit too much for you today, you can always wrap a strap around your leg or keep your left foot on the floor. We want to open up our right glute, breathing into this area. Sending that back down, keeping our legs where they are. Bring your arms out into a T shape and drop your knee to the left, looking over the right for our last twist of the day. If you want a little more, you can cross at the knees to get a little bit deeper into your twist. Feeling your shoulders anchoring down in whichever variation you take with the legs, feeling your legs anchored down. Use your core to bring your knees back up, and we will take all of that on the other side, crossing our left foot on top of our right knee, flexing our left foot to protect our knee, and taking our figure 4 or our reclined pigeons. This time feeling our left glute open up. Slowly let that right foot come back to the floor, cactusing our arms, and then dropping that whole shape to the right while looking over the left shoulder, or crossing at the knees and looking over the left shoulder. Whichever variation you're in, just make sure that we're breathing deep into our spine to increase our stretch and really energize our body for the day that we have ahead. Using your core to bring that back to center, squeeze your knees into your chest, tucking that nose into your knees to engage the abdominals, squeezing your muscles as tightly as you can, and then release into Shavasana. Letting those feet fall open, feeling the weight falling into the floor, shoulders rolling down, and hands are facing the sky to receive energy. Tapping into your breath, allowing your eyes to close. I'm going to leave you guys with the same quote I said at the beginning of practice. Every morning we are born again. What we do today is what matters most. Go ahead and bring some movement into your fingers and toes again. And take a full body stretch, stretching your arms up and your feet away. Roll onto your right side into fetal position. Taking a moment here. And then slowly push your way back up to seated. Thank you so much for joining this morning practice today. Congratulations for taking the time for your self-practice today. I hope to see you again soon. Namaste.